So Tuhin, even as we, explore this whole category of acrylic fiber and we speak to the consultants, we also wanted to understand from you, you know, your perspective of, on like acrylic fiber, also the TAF product and so on, and also when we get, some sort of insights from a consultant or two, we'll also run that by you, to understand if we have got it, if we have
Mhm.
understood, if our interpretation is
Sure.
right. So just to essentially start with this, right? What are, I mean, we've like heard that, what we have seen very clearly is that, polyester is definitely, one of the competing fibers. But are there, other fibers also that, it's like acrylic fiber competes with in the market?
Okay, I will try to answer it like this that long back when acrylic fiber was invented,
Hmm,
it was invented to substitute wool
hmm,
because at that time, if you many so many companies were inventing new man-made fibers, synthetic fibers, right?
hmm,
Because agricultural fibers had limitations, industrialization was happening, consumption was increasing, so everybody wanted to manufacture the materials in the factories.
hmm,
So during that time, only all these fibers, nylon, polyester, acrylic, they all came at the same time. And acrylic basically was invented to replace wool.
hmm. Okay.
So the people started using acrylic in those categories where initially wool was being used.
Hmm,
All your winter wear, your blankets, your carpets, things
hmm,
like that, which was a huge market.
hmm,
So I think till 2000, I would say 2010, 2011, this acrylic had a decent share in the carpet segment, in the blanket segment, and of course in the winter wear segment like sweaters and all. It was a growing industry by that time.
hmm,
But slowly and slowly, what started happening is that the first of all, the price difference between acrylic and polyester started widening.
hmm,
So it became more than $1 at some point of time. And with advancement in technology in polyester,
hmm,
people started using polyester in carpets, first in blankets,
hmm,
and most of the blankets was switched over to polyester and then to
hmm,
carpets.
hmm,
And because of this huge price gap and not so much of a difference in the value proposition,
hmm,
polyester took share of blankets and carpets. So
hmm,
two applications were gone.
hmm,
And what we are seeing today, although the market has declined because of elimination of these two categories completely, almost completely, we are seeing some share of acrylic in sweaters also being taken by polyester, also being taken by cotton, being taken by viscose, but primarily polyester because synthetic versus synthetic cost and all those factors keeping into consideration, this is what is happening. So it's not that acrylic was being used in categories other than these three so much,
hmm.
but out of these three, two are almost gone from acrylic by polyester.
And like it's like other than the price advantage, does like polyester have any more properties that are better than acrylic for these categories?
I mean, properties wise, I don't think so. You can say that polyester, if at all it is required, polyester has little bit more strength, but that's also marginal and not so much required in these categories.
Hmm,
Other than that, what also started happening is that polyester came with this whole recycling story much earlier.
hmm,
And with these PET bottles and all, polyester has created a huge influence because it was easy to recycle polyester from the bottles and
hmm,
sustainability trend started coming up. So as you are well aware that polyester dominated this whole sustainability trend.
hmm,
Although PET bottles in a strict sense may or may not be truly sustainable, that is a debatable thing. But
hmm,
for brands who are looking to give a message out of recycling or sustainability, it was easy to adopt. So that was another advantage that polyester had because it was easy to recycle polyester
hmm,
or get recycled polyester at a very low cost. Today, recycled polyester in many cases is still cheaper than virgin polyester.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. And does acrylic have any like sort of performance benefits that are greater than like polyester? I
Yeah,
mean,
there are
that
many.
is, hmm.
So, first of all, if you compare apple to apple, acrylic will have a much better handle as compared to polyester. So a synthetic fiber does not go very nice on your skin.
Hmm.
But as compared to polyester, acrylic is better. Second thing is that in coming to winter wear applications, acrylic has more bulk.
Hmm.
Therefore, it insulates better than polyester.
Hmm.
Third is that when you dye acrylic,
Hmm.
it dye into very vibrant shades.
Hmm. Hmm.
Vibrant, much more vibrant than polyester, and at the same time, it does not look very synthetic. So it has a
Hmm.
very natural kind of a look against any other synthetic fiber. Then it
Hmm.
is easy to maintain. Acrylic has inherent antimicrobial properties, so the maintenance of acrylic is easy.
Hmm.
It has better UV resistance as compared to polyester. So if you put your clothes or furniture outside, it is more resistant to UV than polyester. So there is a whole list. I'm sure you would have got a document from Swan Priya where all these benefits and things like that are mentioned, but these are typical
Hmm.
advantages.
No, so actually, we want to dive a little deeper. Like, for instance, you said the feel on the skin is better. So when we say feel on the skin is better, it is softer or more
Yeah, softer.
anti
Yeah.
antiperspirant.
Yeah. So, for example, in Europe, people still use a lot of upholstery fabric with acrylic. And the
Okay.
reason they use is that it looks very rich. It does not look that give that synthetic cheap look.
Hmm.
It looks more like cotton, like a premium kind of a product, which comes from its hand feel, its natural look, its
Hmm.
vibrant shades, things like that.
And this like vibrancy stays longer than nylon, polyester, and other like synthetic fibers. Is this?
So if you are, what I mean by vibrancy is that, for example, you are dyeing acrylic or and polyester, let's say in a yellow color.
Hmm.
So the yellow color that acrylic will take will be much more vibrant
Correct.
as
Okay.
compared to yellow shade that polyester will take.
Hmm.
Again, this is because the kind of dyes that are used to dye acrylic are vibrant in nature itself.
Hmm.
So it has not so much to do with acrylic, but the kind of dyes that are used to dye acrylic as compared to polyester. Generally, you will see cotton is very dull. When you
Hmm.
look at a cotton fabric or a cotton dyed cotton fabric, it looks very dull. With acrylic, you will find a lot of vibrancy. So designers love to work with acrylic
Okay.
because they find they can do a lot of things with acrylic in terms of design, in terms of colors and all that.
Hmm.
The sustainability teams of these brands, they want to move away from acrylic.
Hmm. Okay.
Tuhin, how are the dyes different between the two in terms of composition? Is there something in the dyes for polyester? Can you talk about the difference in the dyes?
So, because acrylic and polyester are chemically different, so the dyes that are used to color them will also be different.
Yeah.
So, acrylic is dyed using basic dyes or cationic dyes.
Hmm.
Okay.
Polyester is generally dyed using dispersed dyes.
Hmm.
Okay. Cotton is dyed using reactive dyes. So every fiber, because of its chemical structure, attracts different kind of dyes. And by nature, cationic dyes are more vibrant.
Okay.
And like where in this whole sort of like value chain of production, upstream, midstream, downstream, does the like sustainability gap appear or the sustainability delta appear between polyester and acrylic?
So sustainability is always driven from the downstream, mainly from the brands and retailers.
Hmm.
So I don't think, I mean, there are many companies, of course, in the manufacturing chain also that do have a category of sustainable products, but that is also because they want to cater to the customers for whom sustainability is important.
Hmm.
So recently we developed a recycled version of acrylic fiber.
Hmm.
we reached out to the final brand. It is
Hmm.
expensive. It is much more expensive than acrylic. So we reach out to the final brand. If they want, then everything falls into place.
Hmm.
The yarn spinner or a fabric mill or a garment maker, they do not have incentive to use sustainable products or expensive products unless their buyer asks. And generally, the final decision maker is with brands or retailers, the final buyers.
Hmm. Do you see any like emerging fibers coming into play, which are, which you feel might be strong competitors over the next 5 to 10 years? Any
I
new?
think polyester will still remain a big competition.
Hmm.
And in emerging fibers, I think so if you look at the whole fiber production scenario,
Hmm.
less than 1% of the whole fiber basket is acrylic.
Hmm. Hmm.
So even if new fibers come, I don't think they will have enough incentive to compete with acrylic.
Hmm.
Then with the big fibers like polyester or viscose or cotton, I think those are more interesting areas for them
Hmm.
rather than competing with acrylic. Now, why I am saying that in sweaters also people are starting using acrylic.
Hmm.
People are trying to move away from acrylic, finding other things is more because cost is a factor, then
Hmm.
sustainability is a factor.
Hmm.
They would rather use a recycled polyester or a recycled cotton than a recycled acrylic because it is much more, costly or very difficult to find, things like that.
Hmm.
And also because there is a lot of pressure on the brands to convert. Everybody has a vision 2030, which will become
Hmm.
vision 2014 sometime, that everything will be sustainable. Now, the definition of sustainable for everybody is different.
Hmm.
Some people say that no, for us, natural fiber is the only sustainable thing. For
Hmm.
some people, they say anything recycled is sustainable for me. So
Hmm.
acrylic, so when it comes to choosing between fibers, I think acrylic is a very easy target because it is not a very significant fiber for them. So it's very
Hmm.
easy to say that, for example, when we go and talk to Gap say that we don't want to talk about acrylic. Acrylic is not
Hmm.
in our strategy. We want to replace acrylic. Why? I mean, the answer is not this thing, but it's easy. It's an easy target to say that it's synthetic, it's not recycled, it has microfiber pollution and things like that.
So, is there any sort of parameter across sustainability, like for instance, longevity of the end product? Does
Hmm.
like acrylic help there? I mean, is there any sustainability parameter that you feel we can say is better than, you know?
There are many actually. So, uh, the dyeing of acrylic as compared to polyester consumes less energy.
Okay. Hmm.
Secondly, as I said, that acrylic garments are easy to maintain and are long lasting because it has inherent antimicrobial properties. You can use it for a long time.
Hmm.
Uh, this is more relevant for fibers like cotton or wool, which require a lot of maintenance, especially the
Hmm.
wool. You take care a lot of wool products and all that.
Hmm.
Coming to other aspects of sustainability, if I compare if I first talk about the wool, so I don't know if you're aware, but the what do you call carbon footprint of production of wool is very high
Very high. Very high. Correct.
because when the sheep or the animals, they create a lot of methane, right? They release a lot of methane
Hmm.
gas,
Hmm.
and it's very high. The footprint is very high.
Hmm.
However, when we go and talk to many European brands like Hugo Boss and all,
Hmm.
who are using wool for a long time, they don't want to listen to that part. They say, no, wool is a premium fiber. Our customers like wool. So
Hmm.
there, the sustainability discussion does not happen in that direction. Coming to cotton. So cotton, when you grow cotton,
Hmm.
it takes a lot of water,
Hmm.
right? When you just hold on, sir. Front is calling. SP, I'm in a call with the agency. Yeah, SP. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I'm in call with Design Stack. Okay, bye. Yeah.
Hmm.
So cotton takes a lot of water for its production. Also, when you dye cotton, when you process cotton, much more water as compared to acrylic is used.
mm,
So those are certain things where acrylic scientifically is better, but perception wise, we have not been able to establish in the market that acrylic is better on those
So
aspects.
has there been any concerted effort to actually communicate, these sort of the sustainability aspect um, of acrylic? Has there been a concerted effort, or you think that it's not been addressed yet, and there's an opportunity to actually sort of organize that communication as part of this, the reframing narrative? Do you feel there's been enough effort to communicate the pros and cons of all these?
No, I think there is, but and we have tried it. To be honest, the honest answer is no. The industry has not done so much of efforts as well as polyester industry has done.
mm,
Okay. Again, because it is a very, very small part of the whole fiber basket and things like that. So that is one of the things about this campaign that we are trying to do, that it has to be linked to that aspect also. But I think there are many other aspects where acrylic has disadvantages also
mm,
in the sustainability thing. So they can always question acrylic on microfiber pollution, because all synthetic fibers have microfiber pollution.
mm,
Acrylic at the end of the day is a fossil fuel based fiber,
mm,
right? It is derived from oil and ammonia and things like that,
mm,
right? Uh, Other things that if you Google acrylic sustainability, something like that, or something like that, you will find that there are many articles which say that the raw material that is used to make acrylonitrile, is carcinogenic.
mm,
Now that is not untrue, but the point is that a chemical that is used to make acrylic, once acrylic fiber is being made, is no longer that chemical. It has
mm,
become something else. It's
mm,
like saying that because we use fertilizers in production of cotton,
mm,
we should not use cotton because fertilizer is consuming fertilizer is harmful. So all
mm,
those myths have, all these wrong information is so much over internet
mm,
that I think it is a huge task to convince people towards only the sustainability aspects of acrylic, that why it is better, why it is not better. There will always be pros, there will always be cons against that.
mm. Yatish, do you have any like question at this stage?
No, I think this is emerging quite clearly.
Mm. Okay. And it's like, so then, I mean, now this is a two-part question to him. You had mentioned that, designers love using acrylic, and you've given some reasons. It'd be great if you can just help us understand, in a little more detail, what are those reasons? And number two, what are the categories that you feel, acrylic should be seen in and is not seen in right now? So that will
So,
also,
sorry, please go ahead.
yes, so that will also help us sort of identify designers of what, when we are putting together our thinking. So,
Before
design.
we go into that, let me share something with you. This
Hmm,
might give you an idea.
Just a comment. When it comes to, even if you take plastic, right? People will be so resistant to it, but everybody has some form of plastic at home, which they buy because it lasts forever. So
hmm,
they
And it's
almost
cheap. Yeah.
and it's cheap. So there's almost like two faces to every consumer. One which is more outward and one which is more inward, that what people don't see. So just a thought that popped up, that it's never as straightforward. It's not like a
hmm,
consumer's blanket saying, I will not use plastic, but I will not use it, for example, if it's in my shoes or in my bag
hmm.
or in my shopping bag, or you know what I mean? I'm wondering if there is just a thought.
Also, Priyanka, I mean, I have been working in this industry for a long time.
Hmm.
I think, and I could be wrong, I don't think consumer makes these decisions
Hmm.
related to sustainability, that this is good, this is bad. I think brands are feeding something. that this is sustainable, and brands are doing that because there are pressure from NGOs, there are pressure from government. There's people are saying everybody has to reduce carbon footprint. I don't think consumers really care about that part. They become aware as brands make them aware. So H&M has a huge campaign on sustainability. They do a lot of advertising, so people have started buying it. But I don't think it is being driven by people ultimately, by consumers ultimately.
Hmm. No, correct, correct. All the like regulatory pressure that they have,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Oh,
this is, so can you see my screen?
yes.
Okay. So there is a organization called Worldly.
Hmm.
Okay. They have an index called Higgs Index.
Hmm.
Okay. So Higg Index, actually what they do, they publish, they have a material sustainability index for different kind of materials.
Hmm.
And this is a public information, and one of the most, I don't want to say accurate, but one of the most referred to information when it comes to comparing the sustainability scores of different materials. So
Hmm.
this is one snapshot of where various fabrics are there. Now they say that you should not compare different fabrics because there is a lot of things behind where it was produced, how much was the shipping and things like that. But this is a mota screen. This is a mota snapshot.
Hmm.
If you look at, there are four various aspects which they talk about: resource depletion, eutrophication, then global warming, water scarcity.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
If you look at this, wool fabric, very high on global warming,
Hmm.
right? Cotton, very high on eutrophication and water,
Hmm.
right? Acrylic, of course, fossil fuel based things, but generally not so bad.
Hmm.
This is public data. This is not our data. This is their data.
Hmm. Hmm. I see.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
So
also
then
that
coming.
thinking of natural versus synthetic.
Hmm.
It's a skin deep
Yeah.
conversation currently.
Hmm.
Also, I mean, one thing is that how much willing are brands and retailers to listen to acrylic, right?
Hmm.
Because acrylic in their minds has been for a long time a wool substitute, and it is only
Hmm.
used in sweaters. Can we use something else? So I think the biggest problem we have is our identity crisis. People think that acrylic is just a wool replacement. Most of the people, most of the brands think that acrylic is a wool replacement. It can only be used in synthetic fiber. Other applications have not so much been explored
Hmm.
because of the cost, because of various things. Industry is very small. Uh, we have tried doing different things. For example, when I joined the company, I developed a huge collection of trousers with acrylic, saying that it will be much more sustainable because when you dye a cotton trouser, it takes more water. Acrylic takes less water, and it is much more vibrant. Can be very nice for
Hmm.
women's wear. But then the brand say, okay, ultimately it is acrylic.
Hmm.
So that kind of perception is there, which has to go. So that is why I think, that is why if you think that why we are asking for a category reframing also, is because acrylic as a category is also looked upon like that. So that's
Hmm.
why before we move into our brand or our ingredient branding, the
Hmm.
whole category has to be redefined in a certain way.
So, to your mind, what do you think would be the key points that this redefinition should focus on? This like reframing.
I
You
don't
know.
know. If I knew, I really don't know. There are
That was
many things.
a wishful question.
Yeah. I don't know.
So okay, so let's break that down, right? So from a like performance point of view, performance of acrylic as a fiber point of view, right? So you said that designers love it for its like vibrancy, for its feel and things like that. Okay, so on like that note, can you just sort of help us understand what are the categories that go beyond sweater and furnishing that like designers should be looking at that they aren't seeing right now?
I don't know if Swanpriya shared a deck with you where we have done a big consumer research and an internal workshop where we identified 3-4 categories.
Hmm.
The number one in that list was women's tops, women's knit tops,
Hmm.
where today it is generally cotton, sometimes viscose, sometimes polyester, but
Hmm.
acrylic is not so much there.
Hmm.
Why we feel that it could be a potential category is that first of all, it's a huge category,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
We are saying that if we strictly talk about numbers, we are saying that even if we take 1 or 2% of that category, our
Hmm.
job is done.
Hmm.
Okay. Now
Hmm.
coming to properties, women's wear, vibrant shades make sense.
Correct. Hmm.
Women's wear, natural and feel better look makes sense,
Hmm.
right? Uh, as compared to polyester, I'm saying, right? Easy maintenance makes sense.
Hmm.
So there are a lot of things that make sense. And when we did the consumer research, we did not actually show the garment, but we talked about this concept, we got a lot of positive response in the consumer research that I'm not sure if Swanpriya shared with you, but
Hmm.
uh, I think women's top is a category which we think is quite interesting for us
No,
to
she
look at.
shared a snapshot. Tarun, do you have it with you? Should we just
Uh,
also?
no, so I have, it's like I don't have access to it. I like saw some of those
Yeah,
categories.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just wanted to
Yeah.
understand
So
from
so
like
we had
from a
we
performance
talked
perspective,
about few
why
categories.
women.
One was women's
Hmm.
tops.
Hmm.
Second was loungewear.
Hmm.
Third was men's shirts.
Hmm.
And the fourth one was apparel for seniors,
Hmm.
which we said that not seniors like in Asia, but in countries where people retire, they have a lot of money, they want something comfortable. There is also an aspect of cold there.
Hmm.
So there we thought maybe could be a new category where we can introduce acrylic as a preferred fiber.
Okay, so again, so it would be like vibrancy, it would be maintenance, longevity, it would be the
Yeah.
feel of the skin, and for this last category, it would be the fact that it's already sort of serving as a wool substitute because it's got warmth,
Warm,
as
easy to maintain,
easy to
things
maintain.
like that. Yeah.
Hmm. Yatish, do you have any like questions at this stage?
No, I'd sort of, I'm okay with where we
Hmm.
are right now.
Hmm. So, so if I had to ask you this, Tuhin, going forward, even when we are reframing this, the whole, acrylic fiber category, right? It is possible that there might be some trade-offs.
Uh-huh.
What do you think we should definitely not uh, sort of it's like, what should we definitely not compromise in terms of it's like, what is that one? Okay, let me just frame this question exactly as I've written it. Which characteristics or performance attributes must not be compromised under any future positioning when it comes to acrylic?
I mean, all these that we talked about. So you want only one answer for that, or
If we had to, uh, I mean, if there is one strong answer, then yes.
I would say three.
Hmm.
So one thing that I forgot to mention is acrylic is also lightweight as compared to other
Um,
fibers. Okay.
hmm,
So lightweight, vibrant shades,
hmm,
these two should not be compromised.
hmm. Lightweight and vibrant.
Vibrant shades. Yeah. I don't want to say thermal
Hmm.
insulation because that's where we don't want to again go.
Correct. Okay. Okay. Now it's like, looking at fibers like Leva and Modal, and I think like Leva is also an ABG fiber, right? I mean, it's
Levi is a brand of viscose fiber. Yeah.
correct, correct. So it's like, are there? It's like, what do you think? has led to the traction that these particular fibers are they getting? Like, is it like performance? Is it application? Is it engagement? Is it storytelling?
Oh, sorry,
Sorry.
sorry,
Hanji.
sorry. That was
It's a
Can you hear me? Yeah.
yes.
See, it's not a very straightforward answer, to be honest. So,
Hmm.
Levi has done multiple things,
Hmm.
and also it is the result of the environment around Levi. Okay.
Hmm.
So, Levi, first of all, you need to understand that ABG has a huge market share in viscose fiber in India.
Hmm.
Okay. They have done a great job in having a lot of value chain partners,
Hmm.
relationship with brands, especially in India.
Hmm.
So what they did actually, and the story is different when depending on who you are talking to in the business, but they already had a good market share.
Hmm.
They had a good presence anyways in India.
Hmm.
What they did smartly was they then built a brand around it and then they started calling it out.
Hmm.
So they were already present in retail chains and among the manufacturers. They spent a lot of money in making a brand and calling it out Lever.
Hmm.
Okay. Our problem is different. Our problem is that nobody wants to use us
Hmm.
currently. People are not interested in us. We don't have a strong partnership because acrylic is a very, very small part of the industry. We do have value chain. We do have people in various parts of the world who are maximum of their business is acrylic,
Hmm.
but it's not huge,
Hmm.
right? So what Lever did very well is they had a great network of these manufacturers, value chain partners, and brands,
Hmm.
and then they went out and did the Lever thing.
Hmm.
And then when they did the Lever thing and people got to experience everything in the stores and everything, it sort of came out very nicely. Now,
Hmm.
obviously, when you talk to people in Lever, they will say that it's Lever that has driven it. They are not wrong. I'm sure they would have got a mileage of doing all the branding activity, but the
Hmm.
scenario was very different. And the base idea is that they had people who were convinced about viscose, they were using viscose. They just wanted to grow viscose in other categories also,
Hmm.
where they were able to take it. In
Hmm.
our case, the challenge is that we have a very small category where we are present, which is sweaters, which is
Hmm.
also under threat.
Hmm.
Our value chain partners are also not sure how to promote this one. So we
Hmm.
need to do the branding part first, or maybe the communication part first,
Hmm.
and convince some of them people, and then move on to develop more partners, more acceptability of this product. So I
Hmm.
think the positioning that we are struggling with is that how to do it.
Hmm.
Suppose if I want to go and spend, let's say, 10 crores rupees on acrylic, what should I communicate? I don't know what should I communicate.
Hmm.
Leva was very clear that I want to communicate fluid fashion, right? That's what they
Hmm.
say, that this is today we don't know what is the right thing, and that is why that is where this project is. That what
Hmm.
should I communicate?
Hmm.
People know acrylic for a long time as a cheap wool.
Hmm.
What is it that will excite people more? As a
Hmm.
company, as a company who works as a person who works day in and day out in acrylic fiber, I have a bias that acrylic is good in this, good in this, good in this. But what exactly, what perception can we make in the minds of the customers and consumers
Hmm.
with what acrylic has while
Hmm.
competing with polyester and all these other fibers is what we need to understand.
Hmm.
So when I go to somebody, some brand, and say tomorrow that, you know, we have never talked about the natural hand feel of acrylic. You can use it in there also.
Hmm.
That's
They
a
can ask me,
very
but
nice.
Tuhin, this is acrylic.
In fact, Tuhin, that was the first thing that one of the first few attributes you had mentioned, and we'd, while it might be down somewhere, but that is a really nice, attribute that you've actually highlighted. It might even be there, but as you say it, natural feel versus color. And of course, all of those things have to be there, but there seems to be something slightly differentiating about that attribute.
Hmm.
Yeah, because and again, that is in comparative space, right? As compared to polyester, yes, but as compared to cotton, no,
Hmm.
right?
Of course.
So when I go and talk to, so it has to be a complete package. So if we let me show you something. Maybe this might be a little clear.
Also, Tarun, just if we can talk about modal also a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah.
specifically, just
Hmm.
what do we know about the modal story?
Hmm.
Seems to have made some headway in the lives of consumers.
Hmm.
Please let me know when my screen
Ah,
is.
yes.
Yeah, we can see that.
Sorry. Sorry. So we try to do a perceptual mapping of acrylic, right? Functional towards sustainability, high cost, low cost.
Hmm.
So we can figure out most of these fibers in some of the extremes.
Hmm.
Acrylic is kind of lost.
Hmm.
It's kind of lost on the higher side of the cost spectrum as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Hmm.
interesting.
Hmm.
There is no compelling reason today for customers to use acrylic unless it's a winter wear application,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
This is a tough one.
Yeah. Sorry.
And from a like performance perspective, it's like acrylic needn't only be winter wear, right? Is
Correct.
that a correct So
Correct.
it it can be all weather.
Yeah, it can be all weather. So acrylic has two types. If we go into a little bit technical,
Hmm.
acrylic, we produce acrylic, two types of acrylic fiber. One we call as relaxed acrylic fiber,
Hmm.
and one we call as high shrinkable acrylic fiber.
Hmm.
So what happens is that if you want to use acrylic in winter wear application, generally you use a high shrinkable acrylic fiber.
Hmm.
So what happens is that when you make the fabric, when you dye it, it kind of
Hmm.
shrinks. When it
Correct.
shrinks, it bulks. When it bulks, it traps air and it
Hmm.
makes you feel warm.
Hmm.
But the one which is relaxed, it does not do like that. So you can use it as any other synthetic fiber.
Hmm. I see. Yeah, because thing is, there are certain brands that are so distinctly differentiated. Like Lycra is stretchable. You know, Levi you said is fluid.
No, acrylic is it's a cheaper wool.
Hmm.
It
Acrylic is
is,
cheaper wood, but
but that's
that's
not
what you
helping
want to
us.
change. Huh?
That's not helping us. Yeah.
Hmm. That is what you want to change. Okay, and
And
from a
yeah,
like modal point of view, is there any learning from like modal?
there is a learning. There is a lot of learning. So I think what they have done is smartly is that see, modal at the end of the day is also cellulose.
Hmm.
Yeah, they have improved certain things, especially around strength,
Hmm.
right? Could be a little bit of hand feel.
Hmm.
So they have the same chemical fiber has been rebranded as a category into different things, right? It is at the end of the day cellulosic fiber.
Hmm.
You have not changed anything in the chemical structure, probably, but what
Hmm.
you have done, you're processing it in a different way so that it has improved strength, it has better hand feel, slightly better sustainability credentials, if I'm not wrong. Then they came with lyocell. Lyocell is a higher version where the strength is further improved. So
Hmm.
that is something they have done very smartly.
Hmm.
And I personally believe that we should do something like that with acrylic. But what that will be, I don't know. For example,
Hmm.
when we manufacture acrylic fiber, there is no byproduct.
Hmm.
It is a closed loop process.
Hmm.
Unlike many other fibers, including viscose and polyester, there are byproducts.
Hmm.
We don't have a byproduct.
Hmm.
Now, should we use it? See, my worry about going into sustainability area is that there are many things that can resist us.
Correct.
So
Correct.
if we try to say that at the end of the day we are a synthetic fiber,
Hmm.
right? So it is very, very difficult to establish the sustainability credentials of acrylic.
Hmm.
It might be easy to make a performance story around acrylic,
Hmm.
that we may not be, unlike lensing or Leva, which are more towards sustainability credentials, that
Hmm.
deforestation story and all those things, FCA and all those things. There is nothing like that in acrylic.
No, absolutely.
So it could be something which is good to talk about, but I think we need to build on the performance part of acrylic fiber.
But just one thing, this whole thing about maybe not focusing on the sustainable attributes, the chart that you showed us right now, right? Where you're looking at natural fibers, and now actually for end consumer, and I'm just putting my end consumer hat on. The minute you talk about denim, right? People, because of the information that's available, the minute you talk about you're having a conversation about sustainable fibers and denim comes up, you talk about how actually, denim is not really is that sustainable because you need so much water to create,
Hmm.
denim, and then, so
Hmm.
now that's quite deeply embedded in the minds of a lot of perhaps sophisticated consumers, but people are very aware that denim is not, it's not out and out sustainable. So I'm not sure whether we can, and at the end of the day, it's all narrative building, right?
Yeah.
Deforestation, even a lot of plastics, in fact, in the packaging space, a lot of plastics you cannot have 100% sustainable credentials because of stability of product. It's just not practical and cost as well. So the other angle to do it, to say that you can recycle it. So it's not recycled material, but a lot of brands do that. So all brands seem to be addressing it. A lot of times it's a slightly longer sort of, it's a bit of a stretch,
Hmm.
but I'm not sure whether because it will come up. If you're saying that the industry is kind of moving there,
Yeah. No, no,
trying
definitely it will come up, but I think you need to look at it in some other way also.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I,
Absolutely.
I think
That denim, so take every garment category.
Hmm.
There is a must-have characteristic. There is a must-have thing in a garment for every garment, every application, and there are something which are good to have. So let's talk about denim. Denim, the core value proposition of a denim garment is comfort and fit,
Hmm.
Hmm.
right? Core. If we talk about core, it is comfort and fit. Okay.
Hmm.
For a consumer who's wearing denim, they will not compromise on comfort and fit. That is why. So I used to work for Lycra. So we
Hmm.
used to put beautifully into denim segment.
Hmm.
We had a huge market share in denim because we were about comfort and fit.
Hmm.
Lycra, so denim was a very natural category for us, right? So
Hmm.
if you say that people want to have a awareness about sustainability using denim, they will not they will not compromise on comfort and fit. They will find ways to have comfort and fit in a different way. For example, in denim, a lot of recycling is happening,
Hmm.
especially in denim, because the way you make denim yarn, it is much more easy to recycle. Open end yarn system, you shred the garment, you make it again. But they are not compromising on comfort and fit. When it comes to our case, even we talk about sustainability in everything, we don't own a category where we are known for our performance, and then we talk about it.
Hmm.
And then we say, okay, how can we make it more sustainable, right?
Hmm.
So we have a product called Radianza, which we make in a dyed form. Super sustainable as compared to normal acrylic and many other fibers. But the moment we go and talk about Radianza, people say, but at the end of the day, it is acrylic.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you understand the challenge, Bringa, that I'm having.
yeah. So
So We don't have that core category where we say, okay, this is where acrylic really fits in, other than sweaters.
Well, I think one of the things that, Tuhin, I'm taking out from what you're saying very clearly is that in the acrylic category, no matter what you might do, sustainability will always be a support to performance,
Yeah.
right? Because honestly, at the end of the day, today, as you're rightly saying, denim is about comfort and fit, sure. Denim also has a romance around it, which has been built over the years, which is there. But there is consumer meaning to denim, if you know what I mean, right? And that consumer meaning, whether it is comfort and fit or whether it's the romance of denim, sort of trumps the sustainability disadvantages that denim might have, except for probably a very, very sophisticated bunch of people who might say that, oh, I'll never wear denim, for example, because it's bad, right? So I think the point that you're making is very strong, and directionally for us also, it sort of points us in the right direction that we have to find a narrative in the performance features that you've laid out. And sustainability, if there is, can be a support to that, right? But
Yeah.
finally, the consumer meaning will come from the performance. So whether it is, the color or the easy care or whatever that we might think about, it will finally be driven by the performance sort of credentials of acrylic as a fiber. And I just wanted to sort of put that on the table to make sure that we're on the same page and we're heading in the right direction.
Also, Yatish, I will say that because, as I said in the beginning, that we are very close to acrylic. So we think that everything is great in acrylic.
Yeah.
It may not be true,
Sure.
right?
No,
So I don't want our bias to come into this.
no.
So
I'm only saying that performance over
yeah,
sustainability is sort of a
yeah,
direction that our thinking must sort of really deep dive into.
yeah.
Whether, as you say, you're close to acrylic, whether ABC is the right thing or XYZ is the right thing to go with is something that we also need to kind of dive deeper and deeper into. But we're just getting a sort of level playing field in terms of understanding of where you are coming from. So that's the
So
idea.
guys, I have a meeting. If you want to continue this discussion, I will again be free in 1 hour for half an hour. So do you want to do that, or should we
Do we
schedule
want to
it?
do that?
I would I may not be there at 1, but Tarun, you guys can carry on, and if you record it, I'll have a look at it once we're done. But I think there are still a few things that we need to talk to Tuhin
Yeah,
about. So
yeah, yeah.
that's the kind of him to give us the extra half an hour. I think we should use it.
Correct.
Sure.
Sure.
So do you want to come back at 12, no, 1:30?
1, I think you said.
1
No,
o'clock.
not 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
2:30, 1 o'clock, yeah. 1 o'clock.
Okay. So Tuhin,
Or let's
can
do
you-
one thing. Let's do 1:15. So sorry, 12:45 your time.
Okay.
12:45, and you can use the same link.
I can use the same link.
We won't send you
But
a
can you
calendar.
please send? Can you please block my calendar?
Of
Sometimes
course,
I
of course.
just miss it.
12:45, right? We'll just send it
Yeah.
out.
Just sending
Yeah,
a calendar.
cool. All right.
Okay,
And I will
thank
watch
you.
the recording post the meeting and sort of get into it.
Sure.
Okay,
Thanks a
cool.
lot.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, thank you. See
Okay,
you. Bye.
thanks. We'll just
Thank
stay on
you.
for a minute. I'll just pause.